Welcome to Surviving Sexual Violence in Uganda. I am your host Nakatoba Sudematovu, and today's video is on loss and grief. Welcome. Welcome back. So normally when I meet with survivors of sexual violence, I ask the question whether they have done some loss and grief work with regards to this sexual assault. Survivors sometimes tell me that they do not associate loss and grief with the assault. Survivors sometimes tell me they don't know how to do loss and grief work with regards to sexual assault, or sometimes they tell me that this has nothing to do with loss and grief. I slowly and gently ask the survivor to tell me some of the things that have happened since the assault took place. They mention a lot of things, and most of the time they talk to me, the things they mention actually are about them losing some pieces of themselves. They've lost friends, sometimes they've lost parents, or they've lost relatives, or they've been ostracized from their communities. So I gently again point that out, that that could be perceived, or that is perceived in my eyes as loss. But I ask them what they see, what they've just told me, what they perceive it to be. So I take the lead from them. If they don't want to discuss it any further, if it's re-traumatizing, I let it go. But most often, sometimes people might say things like, I would like to explore that a little bit more, and we will talk about ambiguous loss. Ambiguous loss is similar to being experiencing a traumatic experience and not having the opportunity to find some closure or get some understanding as to why that happened. It is also ambiguous because normally when people experience loss and grief, there are rituals that are attached to those activities or those events. But in the situation with sexual violence, there's sometimes hardly anybody comes to you to talk about what you're going to do in terms of releasing or getting some closure to what happened to you or to your loved one. So often I ask people to tell me a little bit about how they grieve in their communities, what rituals that they put in place to address some of the losses in their communities, or for themselves, what they do when they've lost a pet, what they do when they have lost a loved one. Can they see some of the ways they grieve or process that loss, to see if they can apply it to what's going on with them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We are all different, we process information differently. So I ask people to create their own rituals on how they would like to process this loss, and also see how they can resolve some of these issues that are coming up for them, or how they can resolve the loss of a community. That's huge. They've lost their family members, especially in incestuous situations. They've lost families, and that is huge. So how are they coping with the loss of family members or community members? Mom and dad, or mom or dad, people feel guilty. Again, these are some of the things that we might explore when I'm talking to somebody who is experiencing, who wants to work on loss and grief. How do we grieve? We cry. We go through different stages. We cry. We accept. We rationalize. We are in denial. Very many stages we all go through those processes when we are grieving something that we've lost. So I want to hear from you how you do your work with loss and grief. But most importantly, I would like for you to share with us some of the ways that you cope with the loss and grief, and also how you come to resolutions, or how you find meaning to what happened to you. Sexual violence is about power and control. Sexual violence is also about loss and grief. So let's explore that further, and from your comments, and let's continue the conversation on this matter. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and also leave us a comment in the comment section. Until then, my friends, take care of yourselves and others. Goodbye.